Okay, across the Fontana Dam. It's a beautiful day. There's the visitor center. And there's back up the road towards the Fontana Hilton. It's a beautiful day today. They are expecting 1 to 3 inches of snow up on the mountain. And the temperatures are very cold. High today, I believe it's supposed to be 29 with the wind chill around 13. And tonight's supposed to be wind chill of like -3, and tomorrow wind chill of -5, with temperatures in the very low teens. So the winds are like 35. They're going to be very strong up there. So that's the obviously point of concern, but we will try to work with it the best we can and take it as it comes. Hopefully the shelters are empty, so for the first time I'll be able to actually go into a shelter. I understand the shelters here have fireplaces, so maybe we could actually heat them up and not be suffering quite the temperatures. I don't worry about the hiking temperature. It's the sleeping temperature, because my stuff is just not designed for those temperatures, and it could end my trip to the Smokies. Not necessarily, it's not obviously not going to end my trip. I'd have to loop back around and do the Smokies later if, in fact, I'm unable to survive in this situation. But we will take that as it comes and not dwell on it from here. So here we go. Okay, here it is. There's the permit deposited for the Great Smoky Mountains. And shockingly, up we go. See you in a few minutes. Climbed about 1,000 feet so far. Still got another 2 to go to the shelter, and 6.8 miles from where I am, which seems short to me. That's 7 miles. I don't think I've traveled that far. I thought that this was a I thought this was a 12 or 13 mile day. I certainly haven't traveled that far. To the Russell Field Shelter. It's the second one. So anyway, I'm not worried about it. Head down, moving forward, heading north. Continue to know that I benefit from more map study, but I just don't want to know. In all honesty, just one direction, one mileage, 2190.6. So this would have been my attitude. Ups and downs, emotionally, environmentally, physically. But at the end of the day it's all coming out in the wash. So doing well overall, can't complain. The Rockies, there you go. The Smokies seem to be real well laid out as a trail, so we'll continue up. See you then. So here's hiking in the Smokies. Right now we're on a ridge line, which is blessed because it took us a lot to get up here. Oh man. But as I had mentioned, the trails seem to be sort of more professional and more respectful of the fact that the Smokies are a risk into and of themselves. And there's no sense in playing the games that we've seen on other trails. So really appreciating that. They're hard. They're still up. But you can see that you're getting up to the ridge line and then moving along a ridge line until you have to go up the next mountain to get back to it. That's fair enough. The snow is a couple inches deep here. Certainly you can see it's over the top of my boot. So, but things are warm. In fact, probably a little too warm. I'm sweating, which isn't a good thing, but you know, this is the situation. You just can't stop. You stop, take stuff off, you'll be so cold that now you want to put it back on before you can get started again. So you open up your puffy and open up your jackets, take your hoodie down for a minute, and hope that you can somewhat moderate your body temperature and not become too saturated in your own sweat. Good group of folks out here today. Saw Jenny again, passed her a ways back. Good news about that was that she was soaked to the bone the same time I was. A lot of us were, but she got stuck up on the mountain, whereas all of the other people she was hiking with continued on to Fontana Dam and actually got to warmth, so that was good news. Zia Fox, just passed him. He's doing well. He too got stuck outside, but went to the lodge and got himself squared away before starting today. So he's doing well. Some young gal, Meredith, from DeLongana, Georgia, just near Springer. Young, long legs. She went by me so fast that I was barely moving. You know, that hiker body, that tall, long, lanky body, they cover so much ground with a single step. It is truly amazing to watch them go. But I'm doing pretty well. One lung is pumping away pretty good. I'm not having to stop on the uphills and that sort of thing, so you know, I'm pretty happy. Keeping hydrated, been eating nuts and stuff as I've been going along, so yeah, things are going pretty well up here today. Wind is picking up, temperature is really dropping. I'm getting cold right now, so I think I'll put this down, get some mittens on, and batten down the hatches a little bit. Back at you. Lucky for you, it's too cold for me to jabber too much. But look at this winter wonderland. afraid you won't be able to see this, but the sky, my God, look at that. So you have like the clouds above, then you have like the snow fog, and then it's almost as though the snow fog, they've turned to ice crystals and they're turning blue. So down that lower layer, I'm not sure it's coming through, are like blue. So it's like these layers through the hills, through the trees. How cool is that? I don't think I've ever seen that before. Still continues to be like a winter wonderland through here. You know, I hate to say it, but I've been thinking, particularly over the last like 48 hours, I'm like, when I was coming slack packing, and it was snowing and that sort of thing, I was thinking to myself, you know, the AT to this moment hasn't spoken to me. You know, it's America's footpath, and it says if you want to, I can't remember if it says commune with nature or anyway, participate in nature. That's what the Appalachian Trail is. Well, up until this point, until we entered the Smokies, there was no nature. It's a man-made trail that seems designed and conceived to challenge a hiker, which is great. I mean, that's cool, but you could have that in inner city. I mean, it could be an artificial thing. That's how it felt to me. And, you know, obviously it's one person's opinion, but that's how it felt to me. And AT wasn't speaking to me at all. I actually was envious of an early riser who, you know, each day when he started out, touched that white blaze. And it was speaking to him, obviously, because the white blaze meant something to him. The white blazes are absolutely inconsequential to me. All they've done is just help guide me along, but they haven't been speaking to me. And although, frankly, I'm, you know, moderately terrified over the conditions I'm going to face in the Smokies, this is for the first time I actually see some nature. I actually see that sky, that wild sky that sort of beckons you. The snow and the way that it's reflecting off of the branches, it gives some color and some contrast and some life to what otherwise has really been just, you know, not to say a dead forest, but, you know, there's no green, no buds, no life. I've seen literally maybe 3 squirrels, you know, a couple chipmunks. I did have a good run with a robin who was running down the path with a bloodworm in his mouth, but that's how little of wildlife I've seen. I haven't seen tracks and prints and all of the things because it's winter and it's hibernation and it's quiet time. So this, though, feels wild, feels adventurous, feels like it's drawing me in. And so it's great. I mean, it's really cool that you have both the fear of the unknown melding with the excitement of all that these woods in this path today has to offer. So it's really cool, guys. Anyway, continuing on, looking for Rushville shelter, be somewhere around a 15-mile day. We'll see if we get there. Out. Hey guys, today is really sort of a special day. I think you can tell by the tone of my voice and about, you know, what I'm finding in the trail today that I haven't maybe in other locations, environments, days. So you know, it kind of brought me to thinking of some of the comments I've seen, of which I appreciate all of them. I mean, seriously, the fact that you take the time to do that is just remarkable and off the hook. But I just wanted to provide some context to something, which is, you know, some folks have sort of taken umbrage with a comment I made about a piece of gear or a piece of trail or whatever it is, as though, you know, I'm speaking with some sort of bias or even knowledge. I mean, as I've said 100 times, I'm not a thru hiker. I'm not even a hiker. I'm learning every day as I go. And I'm trying to be those things, as a lot of other people who watch this channel and others are. And all I give you, or try to give you, is sort of the unvarnished perspective from one hiker in one environment on one day at 1 mile among however many miles are hiked that day. And it may not be the same for a different person, may not be the same for a different day or a different mile of the thru hike, or of that day's hike. And I don't claim it should be, you know. I ain't Luke and this ain't the gospel. But I do hope that this sort of perspective, both wonderment and the downside of maybe my view or perspective on something, is of value. Somebody who's thru hiking in front or behind me, we're gonna section hike an area that I've gone through and take something from it, good, bad, or indifferent. And also from your comments in response to that. I think it's really cool that this forum can serve as a venue to do that. So I just wanted to sort of say that, as today is maybe a little bit different, as it's probably my first day of not excitement, but of sort of wonderment and really communing in a way with what's around me. And it's in many ways my harshest day, although I hate the rain, cold rain a lot more than the snow. But in many ways it is my harshest day, simply because of the bitter temperatures. I'm most vulnerable to the temperature. That I, you know, just raise these points and context to the channel. Now look at that. Not only the foreground, but the mountain in the background. I hope you can see it. Beautiful. So, once again, I've been bamboozled into adding a couple more miles. Nomad, Gazelle, Polo, Willow, and Energizer have all gone 2.9 miles further from the Russell shelter to the Spencer shelter. And we're like, hey, come up here. That would make a shorter day for me tomorrow. Instead of a 16-mile day, it would make 13. So that is sort of appealing. So I'm probably halfway there now, I would think. And then I'll get to the Spencer shelter. Hopefully there'll be shelter room. I mean, that's the whole point. The Russell shelter was a 14-person shelter. Looked like there'd be plenty of room. This is a There's the Spence shelter, point 2. So I went a lot farther than I thought I had gone. Well, boy, I've been on a roll. I pounded that out in like no time. So this is the Spence shelter. Hopefully there'll be rooms, 12-person shelter. I've never been in a shelter before, but we're obliged by park regulation to stay in the shelter, so I will do it. So I will see you in the morning unless something comes up.